Boom 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 boom.
You ever watch an animated film and, I don't know, feel something different? Not the super slick CGI we see everywhere now, but something else. Like you can almost feel the texture.
Yeah, like it's got a sort of handmade quality to it.
Exactly. A kind of tangible charm.
Ah.
Well, today, that's where we're doing a deep dive into the really fascinating, intricate world of Disney's stop-motion animation.
Oh, this is a great topic. Lots to unpack there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And to guide us, we've looked at a bunch of sources. We've got stuff from various Disney fan wikis, a pretty comprehensive list from IMDb, and also some really interesting insights from D23, the official Disney fan club.
Good range of sources. D23 often has those behind-the-scenes details.
Right. So our mission basically is to figure out Disney's place in this very specific animation style. We want to highlight the big films, the ones everyone remembers, and really dig into why this technique, which is so painstaking, has such a pull for the artists and for us watching.
Makes sense. It definitely has a unique appeal.
So, okay, let's start right at the beginning then. What exactly are we talking about when we say stop motion?
Well, basically, stop motion is all about bringing things that don't move to life. You take a physical object, could be a puppet, clay, whatever, and you move it just a tiny, tiny bit.
Okay.
Then you take a photo, then you move it again, just a fraction, take another photo, and you do this over and over and over again.
Thousands of times, right?
Oh, yeah. Thousands, tens of thousands of frames. Then you string all those photos together, play them back, and boom, it looks like the object is moving all by itself.
So it really is like making a flip book, but with actual physical things in front of the camera.
That's a perfect way to put it. And, the D23 sources really emphasize this. It lets filmmakers build these incredibly complex, super detailed worlds and tell really unique stories that maybe wouldn't work the same way otherwise. No, it's definitely a slow process, like incredibly precise work. It takes ages, but the results, usually pretty stunning. You get this texture, this sort of realness you just don't get from other animation.
That makes total sense. But given how, well, laborious that sounds, you'd kind of think Disney might not have dabbled in it much. Was that the case? What did the sources say about how many stop-motion things they've actually done?
It's actually more than you might expect. The Disney Wiki list we looked at, it has 21 different items listed under the Disney stop-motion banner.
21? Wow. Okay, that's way more than I would have guessed. Because, let's be honest, it's not the first thing you think of when you think Disney animation.
It really isn't. And it's not just feature films either. That list includes shorts, TV specials, and yeah, some full-length movies too. Plus, it covers work from Walt Disney Pictures and associated studios.
So it's broader than just the main studio.
Exactly. It suggests, a more consistent interest in the technique over the years, maybe more than people realize.
That is interesting. A hidden history, almost.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, let's talk about the ones people do know, the big ones. When you say Disney stop motion, what are the films that immediately jump out? The ones that showed up everywhere in our sources.
Oh, number one, without a doubt, has to be The Nightmare Before Christmas from 1993.
Ah, yes. Jack Skellington. Can't escape him around Halloween. Or Christmas, for that matter.
Right. The Pumpkin King discovers Christmastown and, well, tries to sort of take it over or merge it with Halloween, leads to all sorts of wonderful chaos.
Classic. And that's Tim Burton, right? Or is it?
Well, yes and no. Produced by Tim Burton, definitely has his unmistakable style all over it, but it was actually directed by Henry Selick.
Oh, right. Henry Selick. He's a master of this stuff, too.
Absolutely. And you really see Selick's craft in the details. Like, the sources mention there are over 227 unique characters in that film.
227. Seriously. Just animating one is hard enough.
I know. It's staggering. And it's not just about showing off. It's about building that really dense, lived-in world of Halloween Town. Every single ghoul and creature feels unique and, like you said earlier, tangible. That handmade feel, scaled up like that, it's incredible.
Yeah, you can really feel the artistry, frame by frame. And didn't that film have a life beyond the screen, too? Something with the theme parks.
It did, yeah. It directly inspired the Haunted Mansion holiday overlay they do at Disneyland every year.
Ah, that's right. Merging the Haunted Mansion with Nightmare. Perfect example of its cultural impact.
Totally. It shows how much that film resonated.
So, after Nightmare's success, did that same team, or a similar one, tackle another big stop-motion project, building on that style?
They did, yeah. The next really big one, kind of in the same vein creatively, was James and the Giant Peach. Came out in 1996.
Oh, Roald Dahl, another classic. Seems like a good fit for stop-motion.
Definitely. That story, the orphan James, the magical peach, the giant talking insects, their trip to New York, it's got that slightly weird, fantastical quality. And again, you see that same team dynamic. Henry Selick directing, Tim Burton producing.
Oh, back to back,
Yeah.
basically. That really shows a commitment, doesn't it, to the technique and to each other's vision.
It does. And here's something really cool the D23 article highlighted. James and the Giant Peach was actually filmed in the exact same studio as Nightmare Before Christmas.
No way.
Yeah, a place called Skellington Productions. So they essentially created this specialized hub for stop motion. They were building expertise, keeping the talent together. Sources even say a lot of the crew worked on both films.
So it wasn't just a one-off. It was like a dedicated stop-motion workshop, almost.
Ooh.
Like they were really honing the craft together.
Precisely. They were learning and refining the techniques as a team. And talk about dedication. You want a detail that shows how intense it was.
Yeah, definitely.
For James and the Giant Peach, they used over 50 different models just for the peach itself.
50 peaches. Why so many?
Well, think about it. The peach changes, it gets damaged, it rolls, it floats. They needed models to capture every stage, every texture, every little nuance to make that giant fruit feel, well, real alongside James and the bugs. It practically becomes a character.
Wow. That's commitment. Obsessive detail, really.
Yeah.
But you see it on screen. It gives it that believable quality, despite being totally fantastical.
It really does.
Okay, so we have Nightmare, then James. And sticking with Tim Burton, more recently there was Frankenweenie in 2012. That feels like it belongs in this family, too.
Oh, absolutely. Frankenweenie was directed by Burton himself this time, and it's actually based on his own live-action short film from way back in 1984.
Right, and it was all in black and white, which really stood out.
Yeah, that was a very deliberate choice. It's a direct homage to those old Universal horror movies like Frankenstein. It just perfectly fits the story,
Yeah.
A boy bringing his dead dog back to life. It enhances that melancholic, gothic, slightly spooky vibe.
It really does. Makes it feel timeless somehow. Very Burton-esque, as they say.
Exactly. Very much his signature style.
So those three, Nightmare, James, Frankenweenie, they feel like the big, iconic tent poles. But you mentioned 21 items earlier. What else is lurking in that wider Disney stop-motion world, according to the sources? Anything that might surprise people?
Well, digging a bit deeper, the IMDb list mentions an early TV film from 1983 called Where the Toys Come From.
Oh, interesting. An early TV movie using stop motion?
Yeah, gives you a sense of how they were experimenting with it even back then. And for different formats like television, probably had a very different, maybe more vintage feel.
I bet. What else?
There's also a musical short film mentioned, a symposium on popular songs, also stop motion, which is cool because it shows the technique wasn't just used for the darker gothic stuff. It could be used for lighter musical things too. Shows its range.
That's a good point. Versatility. Okay, anything else stand out?
Yeah, something the D23 article brought up, which is quite interesting, is the inclusion of Wes Anderson's stop-motion films on Disney Plus Core.
Ah, right, like Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs?
Yeah.
They aren't Disney productions technically, are they?
No, not originally produced by Disney, but they're distributed on their platform now. And D23 highlighting them sort of brings them into this broader conversation about high-profile stop-motion connected even indirectly to Disney. And honestly, they're such prime examples of the art form today.
Especially for Wes Anderson's style. His whole aesthetic seems made for stop motion. So meticulous.
Totally. Fantastic Mr. Fox. There's Roald Dahl again. That connection just keeps popping up. Seems like his stories really lend themselves to that tangible, slightly off-kilter world stop motion creates.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But then you have Isle of Dogs. I mean, the artistry in that film is just, wow.
What specifically about Isle of Dogs really pushes the boundaries, based on what you saw?
Well, there's just one detail about the puppet maker, a guy named Andy Gent, and his team. Get this. They spent about 34 months, that's almost 3 years, just creating the dog puppets for the film.
3 years. Just making the dogs, before they even started shooting.
Yeah. Just designing, building, perfecting the dogs. It's mind-boggling, really. It just underscores the incredible patience and sheer craft involved at that level.
That's insane. You can only imagine the level of detail, the tiny mechanics inside those puppets.
Yeah.
To make them move so expressively, you'd form a bond with those puppets spending that long on them.
You probably would, and I think you really feel that on screen. That level of handcrafted dedication, it just comes through. It gives those dogs such personality, such a feeling of weight and presence. It's not just animation. It feels like sculpture brought to life.
It really does put it all into perspective. The time, the effort, the sheer artistry.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've looked at the big hits, some lesser known stuff, the incredible dedication. what does it all boil down to for us, the audience? Why does stop motion have this enduring magic? Is it just that it looks different, or is there something more?
Oh, I think it's definitely more. Yes, it offers a unique look, obviously. That visual aesthetic is a big part of it. But it also adds this tangible layer to the story itself.
How do you mean?
Well, that handmade quality we keep talking about, I think it often infuses the characters with more, maybe soul is the right word. They feel somehow more fragile, more physically real, even if they're monsters or giant bugs. There's a vulnerability there, maybe because you sense the human effort behind them.
I see that. You feel the artist's touch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, knowing the backstory, like the 34 months for the Isle of Dogs puppets, you just have this immense appreciation for the sheer craft involved. It's not just pixels, it's physical work. Blood, sweat, and tears, almost literally.
Exactly. It's artisanal, like you said. And that's why directors like Burton, Salick, Wes Anderson, why they keep coming back to it. It's the perfect medium for them to build their very specific, often quirky, sometimes dark, always detailed worlds. It matches their vision in a way CGI maybe couldn't.
So the medium is the message, in a way. Or at least it enhances the message. And yeah, that synergy with authors like Roald Dahl makes so much sense now. His blend of the fantastical and the slightly dark fits perfectly.
Absolutely. And even going back to things like the shared studio, Skellington Productions for Nightmare and James, that detail tells you something important. It highlights the intense craftsmanship, yes, but also the collaborative learning, the community that builds up around such a demanding art form. They were literally building the expertise together.
What a fantastic deep dive this has been.
Yeah.
Just exploring this unique corner of animation. So to kind of wrap things up, it's clear Disney's relationship with stop motion is richer and more varied than maybe first appears. So we've got these truly iconic, unforgettable films like Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, Frankenweenie, classics.
Absolutely.
And alongside them, a whole bunch of other interesting projects that show a continued engagement with this very special technique. What really comes through is how stop motion, with all its incredible detail and frankly insane amount of work, brings this unique, tangible quality to storytelling. Something digital just can't quite capture in the same way. It gives characters and worlds a different kind of soul.
Well said.
So here's the final thought, connecting this to the bigger picture. We know CGI is king at Disney now, right? And even traditional 2D animation isn't nearly as common as it used to be. So thinking about that, what do you think the future holds for stop motion under the Disney umbrella? Is it destined to stay this like beloved but niche thing for specific directors with a strong vision? Or could we actually see it make a comeback, maybe as audiences start craving something that feels more handcrafted, more distinct from the digital avalanche?
That's a really important question to think about, isn't it? What is its future in today's landscape?
Boom, 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 boom.